Chanting of Hare Krishna is one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as secretive activities. Karmakanda. Number 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna. I once again welcome all of you to the Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So before moving on to our next session, let me know who are all on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nita Mataji, Dandrat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Pritidasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, please. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. And to all the assembled devotees, this is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Param Pavani from ISKCON, Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Param Pavani, Shyama Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Are you joining the first time, Mataji?
No, Mataji. Previously, I used to join, and my name was Payal, but after I am joining after some time because I had my exam in my university, so I couldn't join the call, and I'm joining again. And recently I got initiated by His Holiness Srila Jayapadaka Swami Guru Maharaj. That's why.
Haribol.
Hence the name. Hare Krishna.
Wow, that's really wonderful, Mataji. So, congrats on your initiation and welcome to the call once again, Mataji. Please join us every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your services. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your flawless services on Bhakti Sangha, and thank you so much for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Vartana from Atlanta, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for all your services on Bhakti Sangha, and thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your association and joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. So, dear devotees, we have Prabhuji here with us. So, we will be moving on to our next session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, which will be given by His Grace Toshan Nimai Prabhuji. And before moving on to the call, I would like to hand over the call to Suresha Sham Prabhuji for giving brief introduction about His Grace Toshan Nimai Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Suresha Sham Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Please take over the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So here is a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Toshan Nimai Das is serving as full-time brahmachari in ISKCON NVCC Pune temple from 2013. He got initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2014. He teaches courses based on Vedic wisdom as a guest faculty in many reputed institutions in Pune. He has written a widely appreciated crime fiction, Weed Out, which informs the perils of addictions and ways to move out of it in an engaging way. He has also authored a brief biography of Srila Prabhupada, The Captain, which contains life of Srila Prabhupada with various lessons drawn from it. He, along with a team of translators, have translated a few books from English to Hindi and Marathi. He runs a daily Bhagavatam recitation group for last 2 years in which many devotees are learning texts and meanings of various prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. He has funded a crowdfunding platform, Vidyartha, for the distribution of Srila Prabhupada books to school libraries by contributions from alumni. He has also co-founded a mobile application, Vaishnava Seva, to connect volunteers with the temple services for worldwide ISKCON temples. He is a director of Vital, which organizes courses in the field of theology, arts, and linguistics. He is also a member of GBC SPT. Hare Krishna Mataji, a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Back to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Srishram Prabhuji, for that brief introduction. Hare Krishna, His Grace Toshan Nimai Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, dear devotees, now we will be moving on to our next session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, which will be given by His Grace Toshan Nimai Prabhuji, which is on Canto 6, Chapter 16 and text 22. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We welcome you once again on the call. Hare Krishna, all glories to your services.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for inviting me today in the Bhakti Sangha Japa group. We'll do a little kirtan, then we'll begin. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagannath Jaya Jagannath, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jagannath Jaya Jagannath, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. Now, you would like to open the shloka? We'll read the shloka. Okay, we'll read the shloka. Yasmin idam yatashedam tishtati appeti jayate. Yasmin idam yatashedam tishtati appeti jayate. Mrunmeshva iva mrijjatis tasmai te brahmane namaha. Mrunmeshva iva mrijjatis tasmai te brahmane namaha. Someone like to repeat this shloka?
Hare Krishna. Recited.
Yes, Mataji.
यस्मिन्निदं यतश्चेदं तिष्ठति अप्यजायते मृण्मयेषु इव मृज्जातिस्तस्मै ते ब्रह्मणे नमः.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Anybody else? One more devotee?
Yasmin idam yataschetam tishtati apyate jayate mrinmayeshva iva mrijjaris tasmai te brahmane namaha. Hare Krishna.
And read the word to word meaning. Yasmin, in whom, idam, this cosmic manifestation. Yata, from whom, which also idam, this cosmic manifestation, tishtati stands. Okay, so this cosmic manifestation has emanated from the Lord, and it also stands in the Lord. So Lord is here, Upadan Karan and Adhishtan Karan. Apyeti dissolves, Jayate is born. Okay, it also takes birth and dissolves in the Lord. How? In things made up of earth, he were like Jati, birth from the earth. Tasmai to him, Teyu Brahmane Namaha. The supreme cause, Brahmane Namaha. The supreme cause, respectful obeisances. So Brahmane, very interesting. Srila Prabhupada, this Brahman is translating as supreme cause because it's all about causality here. So we're going to discuss today a little about causality. We'll read the translation. As what's made up completely of earth are situated on earth after being created. Earth again. As what's made up completely of earth are situated on earth after being created. You have earth, you create pots from the earth. Where do you keep? You keep on the earth. and after being created and transformed into earth again. So when the pots are broken, where do the pots go? They go into the earth again. This cosmic manifestation is caused by the Supreme Brahman situated in the Brahman. So this entire cosmic manifestation is caused by the Supreme Brahman, is situated in the Supreme Brahman and annihilated in the same Supreme Brahman. Therefore, since the Supreme Lord is a cause of the Brahman, let us offer him our respectful obeisances. Since the Lord is a supreme cause of Brahman, let us offer him our respectful obeisances. Purport. The Supreme Lord is a cause of cosmic manifestation. He maintains it, and after creation and after annihilation, the Lord is reservoir of everything. Very, very small purport, but we'll discuss this again. So we'll chant prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavaam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalitan Sri Vishakhanvitam Namam Vishnu Badaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurpishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'm extremely grateful to all devotees gathering here. Thankful to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about Krishna in this assembly, auspicious assembly. So what is the best auspicious day? On any particular day, when Harikatha is spoken, not sunrise is nice today in West. Generally, the sunrise is not so. We generally don't see a sun many days. Right? So when we see a sunny day is a nice day. Or when people greet us, a nice day. Or an early morning we hear some good news. But Srimad Bhagavatam or scriptures say, actually on particular day when you hear Harikatha, that day is considered as the best among all the days. So every day we should start our day with Harikatha of the Lord. That's how Srila Prabhupada instituted the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And every day, that's a part of our morning program. So this particular chapter is a part of 6th canto. In this, we understand the history of Chitraketu Maharaj. Just giving the context of this very briefly, because some devotees have joined who don't join every day this session. So Chitraketu Maharaj is a great devotee of Anandashesh, and Chitraketu Maharaj is married to one after another. He is married to 1 crore queens. Why is married to 1 crore queens? Because he doesn't have a child, and he wants to have a child. And he doesn't get child from first wife, from second wife, from third wife. He goes to 1 crore wives. Still he doesn't get a child. He's so frustrated. That time Angira Muni comes to his assembly and they understand king is really very unhappy. Because Putra Hinam Graham Nasti. Unless there is a son, the home cannot be called as home. Or Putra Hinam Graham Shunyam. Srila Prabhupada many times used to quote this. Without the issue, without a child, the home is, the Grastashram is cannot be considered successful. So he is a king. So he's supposed to give the succession. So he's really kind of in depression. And he can look at his face and he can understand that he's totally morose, he's not happy. And then Angira Muni blesses him and gives him a particular foodstuff. And he asks him to feed it to his particular wife from whom he wants a child. And Krutaduti is the wife of Chitraketu Maharaj, to whom the eldest queen, the first queen, he feeds this particular prasad, and after having that, they get a child. And Angira Muni asked him to name as Harshashoka. After naming his Harshashoka, he doesn't realize. He thinks that okay, every child brings some kind of Harsha, some kind of Shoka. So he'll also bring Harshashoka. But once he gets a child, he becomes so enamored that he forgets other queens. And he's caressing and tending to the child. Other queens feel neglected, and they feel this child itself is a cause of our suffering. And they feed poison to this child, and the child dies. And when the child dies, there is no end to the suffering of Chitraketu Maharaj and the queen. And other queens also, they're falsely crying. And Chitraketu Maharaj is totally disturbed. Nobody is able to take him out of his grief. And there appears again Angira Muni and Narad Muni. And by blessing of Angira and Narad Muni, the child comes to birth again. And child tells the philosophy in this chapter. We'll see in the beginning of this chapter. The child is going to speak this philosophy, that what is this, parents, this life parent. Every life I'm getting so many parents, right? And everything happens by the desire of the Lord, right? So the child doesn't want to, although the option is given to the child that he could stay back in the same body, the child doesn't want to stay back. After instructing his father and all the relatives, the child moves again. And now, after hearing this particular instruction from the child, the King Chitraketu, his heart become light. Right? Last time we had heard, we had learned about what is the purpose of philosophy. So purpose of philosophy is to make a sense of the things. Sometimes the things don't make a sense, and philosophy helps us to understand how to make a sense of this particular thing. And also when specific something tragic thing has happened, it helps us to properly situate ourselves in a tragic situation. That is the purpose of philosophy. So after speaking this philosophical word, that's why we practically hear philosophy. And the more we practically hear philosophy, then we'll not fall into the trap of Shoka Moha Bhaya. Anybody hears Krishna Katha regularly, Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, Shoka Moha Bhaya Paha. Automatically is lamentation, fear, and illusion are driven away. That is the result of regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So rather than going into the grief and succumbing to that, and then waiting somebody to come and tell us philosophy, we don't know whether we'll be in a mood of listening or not that time. But if we practically hear philosophy, then actually all these miseries or calamities which inevitably come in every person's life cannot affect us. They do not disturb us. So here, the Chitraketu Maharaj become composed, and Narad Muni is going to instruct him a mantra. He's going to instruct him about the Supreme Lord. And here is speaking this particular shloka. Here this particular shloka comes. So anybody has heard similar shloka anywhere? आपने ऐसा कोई श्लोक पहले सुना है इस प्रकार का? Can you bring the shloka to the screen, please? Madhuri, can you share the screen with the shloka? Yes, Gajendra Moksha shloka comes when Prabhu has replied. Can somebody spell out the Gajendra Moksha shloka, which is similar to the shloka? Yes. Okay, I will share my screen. What is the Gajendra Moksha shloka similar to this? Yasmin idam yatashedam yenedam idam swayam yosmat parasmacha tam prapadye swayambhuvam. So this is a shloka 8.3.3. This appears in the prayers of Gajendra. The very second shloka is mentioning similar actually. Yasmin idam yatashedam yenedam idam. We'll discuss this shloka. Even actually Prahlad Maharaj prayers also similar shloka comes. Prahlad Maharaj also says that Yasmin idam yatashedam yenedam idam swayam yosmat parasmacha. Of course, this is Gajendra Moksha shloka. Yasmin yato yahi yena yasyasmat yasmin yatha yadoti parova bhava karodi vikarodi pratak swabha sanchodita stadakilam bhavataswarupam. Even Prahlad Maharaj also spells out a similar shloka. So what this shloka talks about actually? It talks about Yasmin idam, that this world is situated in Adhisthana. Adhisthana means place, which vibhakti is used generally for Adhisthana. Saptam is used. So Yasmin. So this world is situated in the Lord. Yataschedam, yatah. From whom this world emanates. This yata word is also very, very famous. How many of you heard this yata word? Can you quote some shlokas from scriptures, famous scriptures, where the yata word comes?
Yada yada hi dharmasya, that one, Prabhuji.
No, yatah, this yatah.
Yata.
Yes. Very first book of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yato janmadhyasya yato anvayad trisharte avamkeswarat. So this is very first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very first line is yata word comes actually. From whom everything emanates. Janmadi asyata. He's the one who maintains it actually. And he's the one who destroyed it. So he's the one. He's the cause, ultimate cause. Yata. From whom, right? Any other place? So this also appears in Vedanta Sutra, similar 1.1.2 of Vedanta Sutra. Janmadhyasya. This yata. This cause is very important to understand actually. What is cause of something, right? So this even science people actually, they want to know the cause, but they're so frustrated, they're not able to understand what is the cause of the things, right? So I was just studying about this causality, which is very famous. So is causation is the ultimate, is it a scientific when you're trying to search a cause, is it a scientific contest? Does the science also consider about cause, the ultimate cause? What do the philosophers and scientists talk about that? Can somebody read from the screen what is mentioned here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I read?
Yeah, please read.
Okay. Mataji, Anita Mataji, read Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. All philosophers of every school imagine that causation is one of the fundamental axioms or postulates of science, yet oddly enough, in advanced sciences such as gravitational astronomy, the word cause never appears. To me, it seems that the reason why physics has ceased to look for causes is that, in fact, there are no such things. The law of causality. Causality. I believe, like much that passes muster among philosophers, is a relic of a bygone age, surviving like the monarchy only because it is erroneously supposed to do no harm. By B. Russell, 1913, on the notion of cause. Hare Krishna.
Bertrand Russell, actually, very famous philosopher, and he's speaking this word. Although he's a philosopher, and all the philosophers accept that there must be a cause. But Bertrand Russell is telling that science actually being so frustrated that they are not able to find cause. Ultimately, they're given up that pursuit of finding the cause of the cause of the cause of the cause, right? And that's why that physics has ceased to look for the cause. Is that in fact there is no such thing. So they think that there is no such cause only. But actually, we see that every place people try to find the cause. Like the coronavirus was there, and everybody was trying to search the cause from where the coronavirus came. It came from the lab or it came from the open market. Right now, there was a Biparjoy. There is one hurricane in India, and when it is there, then everybody want to know why this hurricane particularly is coming. Like every people, science, they try to find out the cause, but ultimate cause, because they cannot find out the empirical faculties, the sensual faculties, and cannot understand what is ultimate cause. So the science doesn't talk about that. And all the gravitation, astronomy, this cause, this word never appears, unfortunately. Although there has to be cause. How can automatically things can happen? No scientifically brained person can accept that things can happen automatically. But unfortunately, because they have no idea about the cause, they cease to exist. Because they think everything is by chance. There's no cause. Everything happens by chance. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about this 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita about Jagadahu Anishwaram. Krishna says that whatever creation has happened, there is no foundation, there is no cause actually. That aprama sambhutam Jagadahu Anishwaram. There's no foundation to this. There's no cause. There's no God. That's what the atheist people think. This is what the mentality of all these scientists. Asatyam apradishtam te Jagadahu Anishwaram. Krishna says that asatyam. This everything is false. Apradishtam. There is no foundation to this. What does K. Pearson, one of the famous scientists, what does he say? Read.
Beyond such discarded fundamentals as matter and force lies still another fetish emits and what is this, Prabhu?
Inscrutable arcana of modern science.
Inscrutable arcana of modern science, namely the category of cause and effect.
Yes. K. Pearson is one of the famous scientists. He is the fetish. Fetish means it's a great desire. They want to find out the cause. But actually, this is a discarded fundamental. Already science has discarded that. So better you give it up, finding out the cause and effect of things. He thinks that science look after data, and from data you can understand anything. So if you understand from data, when you capture the data with your observation, and when you capture data with your observation, you can understand everything. Then what is the need of finding out the cause of the things? It's a fetish. You should give up this crazy fetish to find out the cause. That kind of desire. The unscrutable arcana of modern science. Yes. But actually, the cause is everywhere. I give some example, right? And here are the causes. Can somebody read the headlines? So this fetish for the cause, we find everywhere. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Caucasian and its imposters. Taller people more prone to cancer. The increased risk is slight, but aligns with a long-standing hypothesis.
You may not read the down part, but just read the headlines.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dogs walked by men are more aggressive. Eating fatty fish, lower risk of dementia. Which high school students are most likely to graduate from college? Sincere smiling promotes longevity. Internet use in class leads to lowest test scores.
Yes. So everyone tries to find out cause. They think that what is linked. This particular word is used. Something is linked to it, right? The new research provides a warning to school children who likes to use internet in class. Surfing the internet in class has been linked to poorer test scores. So they don't want to say it as a cause. They're using vague terms like linked to, but actually, the desire to find cause we find everywhere. We always all the data science. If you heard about the emerging computer technologies, artificial intelligence, or the data science. The data science is one of the most promising emerging fields. So the data science tries to find out the patterns, and they try to find out what might be the cause behind this pattern. In this particular month, okay, we find the particular sales has grown exponentially in the month of December because there's a Christmas, there's the cause, festivity. People like to buy. So people always want to find out the cause so that they can create that cause probably artificially and drive the markets. So the fetish for the cause we find everywhere. But science, unfortunately, because they're not able to find out the ultimate cause, they're given this fetish. But our scriptures talk about the cause. Even philosophers, actually, like Aristotle, Aristotle also spoke about the cause. So Aristotle, being a Greek philosopher, he spoke about the 4 kinds of causes, actually. Anybody knows what Aristotle, you might not have heard, actually. Okay. So for anything to happen, he mentions there are 4 kinds of causes. And he also talks about the metaphysical concept called God. He calls him as a prime mover. I'm sorry, this is philosophy because this is just one line purport. So I'm discussing these things, but you'll find it interesting, right? Because we are also going to our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, ultimately. So Aristotle says there is a material cause, like you want to make a statue. So the statue, to make a statue, what you got to have? You got to have a piece of a marble. From the marble only you can create a statue, right? So material cause. In our scripture, it's called Upadan Kan. Upadan means the material cause. What material is there? Unless there is a material, you cannot construct anything. So you need a material. It's called Upadan cause. Karan. Then there is a formal cause. Formal cause means then it has to have some form. That particular statue has to have some form. So that form will be there first in the mind of that person who is going to carve that. Or blueprint. Like every building you make, first you create architecture model of it, and then you create a blueprint, you create, and then you create a building. So it's called a formal cause. And then there is called efficient cause. Efficient cause means one who makes the material into a particular product, a statue. Who does that? A potter or a sculptor may do that. Okay. The sculptor is called as efficient cause. In a philosophy, it's called mitkaran. And then there's a final cause. Final cause means, is it being used for intended purpose? The purpose of the statue may be that you want to commemorate the disappearance or appearance of a person. That's why you're making a statue. So why you made it ultimately? It's called as final cause. So he mentioned these 4 causes. Aristotle: material cause, formal cause, efficient cause, and the final cause. And the ultimate cause of all this cause. He says everything in this world is changing actually. But because of all this, if it is changing, then it cannot be cause. That something is making it change, right? So the ultimate cause has to be non-changing. In philosophical terms called avyaya, that is indeteriorable. Avyaya, it never deteriorates, never changes. Bhagavad Gita, there are multiple terms are used actually for this, right? Immutable or undestroyable. These kind of terms are used for this. So he says this called as prime mover or God, metaphysical term in Aristotle called as God. And God is the one actually, everybody moves towards the God. Ultimately, he moves everything. That's what was the understanding of Aristotle, right? So we also find actually that even in this world, people want to find a cause, and it's very difficult for people to find out the ultimate cause, right? Like people say, "Anda palya hai, murgi palya hai," right? What you will say? First came an egg, or first came a chicken, or first came a seed, or first came a tree. First came a seed, or first came a tree. What do you say? What first came?
Seed, Prabhuji.
Chicken and egg problem, this way, right? Chicken and egg problem. That it's difficult to figure out what's came chicken or first came the egg. But Mataji, how does the seed comes? Because seed comes from the tree.
Lord says no.
So Lord says in yes.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, aham bija pradapita. That I am the seed giving father of all. The Lord is one actually, from him the bija comes and the tree comes actually. Right? Even Bhagavad Gita 7. Krishna says, Bija mam sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam. And the eternal seed, actually, sarva bhutanam viddhi partha. All this living entities, the ultimate bija, the yoni form, actually is coming from the Lord. Even the first shloka of Gajendra Moksha. Who remembers the first shloka of Gajendra Moksha? What is the first shloka of Gajendra Moksha?
Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai.
आगे यथा पुरुषाय so Adi Bijaya. He is a primal seed from whom everything else comes actually, right? So the devotees, they know that, but the outside people, they don't know that Lord is ultimate cause. So we'll see, this particular shloka, Yasmin idam yataschedam yenedam idam swayam. Because multiple causes are described, and it's also similar to the shloka under discussion. That's why we're discussing shloka from this Gajendra Moksha. That's Yasmin idam yataschedam. Yasmin is adhisthana karan. That entire world is situated in the Lord. Right? So where do you hear from Bhagavad Gita that everything is situated in the Lord? Any Bhagavad Gita shloka you remember?
Aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarvam pravartate.
From him, but it is situated in him. Is there any shloka that says that it's situated in the Lord?
Matasthani bhutani.
Yes. Yes. All living entities in this entire creation is actually situated in me. Mai sarvidam proktam sutre maniganaiva. Even Krishna says actually that everything is situated in me. Like the thread actually underlying. If you see a pearl necklace and if you see the pearls, there has to be a thread. So the Lord actually is underlying thread of entire creation. So Lord is Adhishtan. Everything is situated in the Lord. Where is this mentioned actually? Who saw that everything is situated in the Lord? Everything is within Krishna. Who saw that? Anybody has seen this vision? Sab Krishna ke andar hi hai. Sab Krishna.
Brahma ji?
Arjuna,
Lord Brahma?
Arjuna, sorry.
Yes,
Arjuna and Vishwarup.
Yes. And Arjuna saw in Vishwarup. And what is the Purusha Sukta beginning? Anybody sings Purusha Sukta? Anybody has sung the Purusha Sukta? Himanshu, what is the beginning of Purusha Sukta?
Sahasrashesha Pursa Sahasraksha Sahasrapat
Sahasraksha Sahasrapat
Sabhumi Vishwato Vritta Atyatishta Dashangulam
Dashangulam Purushe Vedagam Sarvam Yat Bhutam Yatchavayam Udavatam Seshana Yadannena Tiroti. So Purushe Vedagam Sarvam, everything is situated in the Lord. Yat Bhutam Yatchavayam. And what is going to happen and what's already has happened. So the time is entirely contained within the Lord, and the entire space is contained within the Lord. That Yadannena Tiroti. Sahasra Shisha Pur Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutta Atyatishta Dashangulam. All the 10 directions, Dashangulam. Everything is situated. Purushevedagam Sarvam. Sorry. Sahasra Shisha Pur Sahasraksha Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutta. He is situated with all the Bhumi. He's Vyapta. He's covering entire. Sabhum Vishwato Vrutta. Vishwato. Everything is covered by the Lord. Actually. Everything is situated in the Lord. So we see that. Right. So Lord is Adhisthana. Adhisthana is a place. Lord, everything is situated. And then Yasmin Idam. So it's mentioned Yasmin Adhisthana Yat Upadana Parameshwar Vivrannaha Yavat Samaptim. So this particular shloka is mentioned actually to explain the Aishwarya, the glories of the Lord, the opulences of the Lord. So it's mentioned that your Lord is Adhisthana Karana. Everything, and Lord is also Upadanakaram. Yatashedam, everything comes from the Lord. So Upadanakaram or Nimit, so or material cause actually. So any shloka from Bhagavad Gita where Lord is mentioned as material cause, everything comes from the Lord. Everything comes from me. Where Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, then everything comes from me. So many chants. Okay. Actually, one more.
Sarvasya Prabhu.
Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Matta Sarva.
Yes, Matta Sarva Pravartate. One more devotee has commented actually, sorry, I forgot to read. Yashodamai also saw that everything situated in the Lord. When she opened the mouth of Krishna, Krishna, mitti khaya, did you eat the dirt? And Krishna, she opened the mouth of the Lord, and what she finds? She finds that all the universes are situated in Krishna. And one particular universe, one particular place, there's a Vrindavan, and she finds herself looking into the mouth of Krishna. In the mouth of Krishna, she has to find all the universes. So infinite loop actually. She finds everything is contained within Krishna. She becomes totally bewildered. Right. So this is about actually the first Adhisthana. Then we are discussing about Upadanakara. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarva Pravartate. Everything comes from it. So Lord is also called as material cause. Can somebody mute? So Lord is also called as material cause of everything. Everything comes from the Lord. The analogy is given in the Mundaka Upanishad. It says, Yatho arnavi surjate grunate chetha prithvi angshadaya sambhavanti yatha satha purushat keshalomani tatha aksharat sambhadya vishwam. The Mundaka Upanishad says, like there is a spider. A spider creates a web. The spider is both actually. The web, from where the material comes from where the material for the web comes from, it comes from the spider himself. But who creates the web? The spider himself also creates the web. So in this way, the spider is both actually the material cause and the efficient cause, the karta and upadan karan of the web. Similarly, it's mentioned that this entire creation, Vishwam, Aksharat, Iha Vishwam, is mentioned. Aksharat Sambhava, Sambhavati Iha Vishwam. Aksharat Sambhavati Iha Vishwam. That everything is actually coming from Akshara. Where do you hear this Akshara word? Bhagavad Gita, do you hear this word Akshara? Right?
Akshara.
Which shloka Bhagavad Gita it mentioned?
15th chapter, 19th and 20th sloka. Dvavima purusha loke, ksharah cha akshara eva cha, ksharah sarvani bhutani, kutastho akshara uchyate.
So, yes. And like next he mentioned, yasmat aksharotopi.
Yeah,
Yasmat
yasmat
akshatitoham aksharatapi chottamaha. Loke vedecha
pradita
purushottamah.
purushottama.
The Lord is actually Kshara and Akshara. What is Kshara and Akshara? This world, this creation is Kshara, which is destroyed. And Akshara is the Lord who is never destroyed. As a Paramatma, he is an Akshara. But the Lord himself actually, even beyond this Akshara, Paramatma iti Udarati is mentioned. That the Akshara is not a Paramatma, but Lord is even beyond this Paramatma. In 18th shloka, if you see the 18th shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Uttama Purushatva Anya Paramatma Udarati. Yolokatram Avishya Vivartya Vaishwara. That Uttama Purushatva Paramatma Udarati. The Uttam Purush actually from everything comes is known as Paramatma. And he's Avyayishwara, he never destroyed. But Krishna says he's even beyond that actually. Yasmat Aksharamatitom Aksharadovichottama. Atosme Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottama. So Supreme Lord Krishna is beyond this creation, beyond even actually here Lord manifests. No, Krishna doesn't do personally himself. Krishna comes as a Purusha avatar. Krishna appears as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Karnodakshaya Vishnu, Karnodak ocean and Karnodakshaya Vishnu, causal ocean, from whom everything comes actually, causal. But Krishna is even cause of that cause. Krishna is even cause of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karnodakshaya Vishnu. So Krishna is beyond this, and that is also mentioned in this shloka in Gajendra Moksha, that Yosmat Parasmatcha Parastam Prapadde Swayam Bhuvam, that Asmat Karya Parasmatcha Karanatcha. That Asmat means Karya, that this world is a Karya, ultimate result. This world, this creation is a result of Krishna's creation, this world. Okay. So Krishna is beyond this result, and Krishna is beyond the Karan also. Parasmatcha Karanatcha. Parasmat, beyond this world is Karan. All this Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Shirodaksha Vishnu, Karanaksha, or the Gunavatas actually, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. So these are all the cause, known as the causes, but Krishna is even beyond that. Parasmatcha actually is mentioned. Yo asmat parasmatcha parastam prapati, is para, beyond this. He is Supreme Lord Krishna, beyond all these causes. Right. So here we saw Yasmin idam yatashedam, the material cause. Yenedam, the nimitta cause. Everything happens by the Lord. Is mentioned here. Yasmin adhisthani yat upadana yena karta yascha swayam vishwam bhavati. Yascha swayameva idam vishwam bhavati is mentioned. Yena karta. So Krishna is also efficient cause. Krishna manifests this world as a karta. Where it is mentioned, is there any shlokas in Bhagavad Gita which mention Krishna is also efficient cause? Are there any shlokas in Bhagavad Gita which mention Krishna as an efficient cause of everything? Krishna is the one actually who is doing things, who is engaged in doing things. In the 15th chapter, you will find Gama Vishya Bhutani Dharyami Hamojasa. Krishna says that I am maintaining that actually. Dharyami. I am engaged in doing that. Or Vivartya Ishvara. The I is the one from whom actually everything comes, and I create this. Right? Is there any shloka? Bhagavad Gita, any other shloka? Krishna mentions I am the cause, the efficient cause, the karta. Kartaharam, Kartaham pi jagato. Is the shloka is the right Bhagavad Gita? Mata dhata pitamaha. I am the cause actually, Karta. I am the creator, right? Have you heard this shloka? I am the seed giver. I am Mata dhata pitamaha. I am the mother, I am the father, I am the maintainer. Where do you hear this Karta word in Bhagavad Gita?
Ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manye.
No, in relation to Krishna.
Or in Krishna.
Chaturvarnam maya sushtam gunakarna karma vivagasham. Tasya kartaram iti mam vidya kartaram api avyayam. Krishna mentions that actually. Although I am the creator of this system, you should know I am the non-doer. He is mentioning, of course, he is mentioning as a kartaram api avyayam. Because he creates actually through a system. He himself is not direct creator. But Krishna is ultimate creator. Where is mentioned Krishna is ultimate cause? Sarva karana. Karanam. Ishvara Param Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhe Govinda. Sarva karana karanam. He is the ultimate cause of everything. Cause behind all the causes. Srila Prabhupada says if you find, okay, one cause behind this cause behind this cause, ultimately you'll reach up to Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate cause of everything in this world. And this comes in many places, right? Even Ishupnishad says that everything comes from actually. Om Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamadaya Purnamevashishyate. Everything comes from the Lord. Right? So Lord is a Karta. How does the Lord creates actually? Through the agency of Purusha Avtaras and Guna Avtaras. Lord creates this entire manifestation. You have heard this? Lord create manifestation to Purusha Avtaras. Guna Avtaras. So Nimitta Karan, where it is mentioned. So even in scriptures is mentioned actually. Dhata Yatha Puru Makalpayat. Rigveda is mentioned actually that before the creation of each kalpa, there was only Brahman, and he created this Jagat as before. Dhata Yatha Purum Akalpayat. He created this actually. Yatha Purum. He was there in the beginning. Everything comes from him. He is the Nimitta Karan. So Kama Bhusyam Prajayati. Taittiriya Upanishad says, this is very famous actually. Bhusyam. Why all these living entities came? He desired. So Kamayat Bhusyam Prajayati. He desired, I desired, may I manifest in several ways, and I manifested in several ways. So it says Krishna is a Nimitta Karan. He is efficient cause. He causes. Why does the Lord creates everything? Right? What are the reason Lord creates everything?
For our pleasure and his pleasure.
Yeah.
For welfare of his devotees.
Devotees, this entire material creation I'm talking about. Why does Lord create the material?
For his pleasure.
Actually, Lord creates two reasons.
From our
Lord
desires.
Yeah, our desires actually. Every creation, we have got these desires, and because we desired ultimately that we wanted this world separately, so Lord creates. In every creation, all the living entities, they enter into the body of Brahma, and they have got unfulfilled desires. And just to fulfill their desires, just to fulfill the desires of all the living entities, to bestow the karma of all the living entities, the Lord creates everything, so that they again continue their karma cycle. Sarvani Rupani Vichitta Dhiraha Namani Krutva Vividan Yadaste. It's mentioned in Purush Sukta that he created all the forms, named them, and now calling them by names actually. Because all these forms were created because they had this unfulfilled desires. Like a father analogy is given, father makes a toy for his crying child. Despite toy is not required actually for him. But similarly, the Lord doesn't have to create, but Lord still creates for fulfilling the desires of living entities. Yes, any question?
To rectify the conditioned soul, is it right to say that way?
Yeah, means indirect cause. They had this desire, they enjoy, and of course to rectify this, the Lord creates this entire material creation. Yeah. I'm getting hopefully, this is little, we are discussing this philosophy and all this Upanishads. But hopefully, you're getting any question till now?
Hare Krishna, yeah, Jyoti Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, at very first, Lord was alone Lord was alone and he wanted to share his happiness. That was one of the reason why he started the creation. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji?
Means in one way is correct, but in another sense, actually, it's all simultaneous because Lord is beyond the time. We cannot say that one point of time, the Lord was alone, then he created. So just for our understanding, because it's difficult for us to understand what is to be beyond the time, it is mentioned like that. But actually, the Lord has no effect of the time.
No, I mean, at very first.
Brahma Samhita, it says, even a moment doesn't pass in the spiritual world actually. There is no factor of a time. Time is visible by is or felt by is inconspicuousness. That is not visible. That we understand the time in the spiritual world. Okay. But
yes,
but for our understanding, these statements are there in scriptures, just to make us understand. Any other thing?
Why there are so many contradictions when it comes to Lord and the philosophy, and then it's very difficult for the realization to happen. It takes a lot of time. So why, but during that also, even if the realizations come, there are a lot of contradiction. Why that Lord has created? So
Because Lord, actually, our philosophy itself is achintya Veda, actually, inconceivable. So unless we understand the inconceivable feature of the Lord, we cannot understand the Lord. Because if we can understand the Lord by our own tiny, puny intelligence, which even Brahma cannot understand, with his entire body made up of intelligence. Brahma also says actually that, Lord, no, I cannot understand you actually, how you work and how you operate. It's very difficult to figure out how the Lord operates. Even Bhishma says actually it's very difficult to understand the Lord. So, it's also characteristic of the Lord Mataji that all the contradictions are resolved in the Lord ultimately, but it's we can only understand the Lord by our own capacity. What your capacity, scriptures say multiple analogies. Scriptures say like every bird flies as per his capacity. So we try to understand the Lord as per our capacity. Or anybody goes to the river and he can he can fill the bucket, or he might have a big pot. Whatever he has brought, he can fill it. Similarly, is unlimited. Lord, nobody can understand him. Lord doesn't understand the Lord actually. That's why he come as a devotee to try to understand him, what the devotee understands. So it's difficult to understand the Lord. That is achintya feature of the Lord. So that's why all these contradictions are there, because Lord cannot be defined. Lord is everything we understand here, right? But iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Once we understand that Lord is inconceivable, we try to understand as per our capacity, and we engage in a bhajan of the Lord. After knowing the Lord is supreme, inconceivable, in our hand we should do bhajan. Right? Nobody can fully understand the Lord.
Prabhuji,
because that's the nature of the Lord himself. Because he is Ananta. Satyam Brahma, Anantam. Is mentioned in scriptures that Lord is Ananta.
grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Hare
Satyam
Krishna.
Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That's Anantam, is unlimited. Yes, Mataji.
Just wanted to clear one small understanding that Lord Brahmaji came out from the navel of Lord Krishna according to Bhagavatam. And then Brahmaji sees all darkness, and then he goes back through the same stem of lotus, and then he sees Lord Krishna there, and all those things happen. But then when the creation takes place, how Lord expands himself into 4 Mahavishnus, and so when does that all come?
So that is before Brahmaji, right? Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes Brahmaji, but Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes from Karnodakshay Vishnu. From Karnodakshay Vishnu, so many seed form like mustard seeds, the gunny bag of mustard seeds, unlimited universes come out. And each universe is a Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from whose navel the lotus flower comes, and every lotus flower is a Brahmaji.
So actually it did not come out from Lord Krishna. But when Brahmaji goes inside and he says,
Lord,
praises
everything
Lord Krishna.
From Krishna, Balramji comes out. From Balramji, Chaturvyuha comes. From Chaturvyuha, another Chaturvyuha comes. And then from one Chaturvyuha, the Mahavishnu comes out. So in this way, ultimately everything is coming from Krishna only.
Yeah. And then when he goes inside again and does a lot of tapasya for 1000 years and all that, after that, and he sees all the gods like demigods and everybody, they're already doing their serving the Lord, isn't it? So when that means the creation was already there, only this human beings and the living beings and other universal aspects were created by Brahmaji.
Yeah, means Brahmaji, the primary Lord is the ultimate creator, and Brahma is secondary creator. The primary creator is Supreme Lord, right? So all the ingredients necessary for creation were already created by the Lord. All the species and seed form created by the Lord. And Brahmaji then created secondary forms actually. So all the upadan needed, the material needed for creation is already given by the Lord. The species were created actually by Brahma. Yeah. But all the what you needed for the creation is given by the Lord. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Getting a bit, so later again when I read, I'll ask you some more questions. Thank you.
Yes, this is anyways, as we mentioned, is inconceivable actually. To fully understand is difficult. So everything is situated in the Lord. How it is situated, like the water enters into the cloth, but the water doesn't become the cloth. So Lord enters everything. but still Lord remains actually untouched by everything, or he remains separate from what has been created as a Brahman, which pervades everything. You're getting this analogy, like you put cloth in the water pervades entirety of cloth, but it's separate from the cloth. It doesn't become the cloth, right? So Brahman pervades entirety of everything, right? So Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada, it doesn't become the Lord. Actually, Bhinna Prakriti is a separated material energy. Bhumira Panalo Vayu Khamano Budire Vacha Hankariti Yamne Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. Earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, these are separated energies of the Lord. Even the living entities, that is the energy of the Lord. Actually. Another energy of 9, actually super energy. Understand, these are the living entities actually. Dhari, this is a mentoring this.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, मेरे को पूछना था कि हम बोलते हैं कि अगर हम पुण्य करते हैं तो हम हायर ऊंचे लोकों में जाते हैं, और अगर हम पाप करते हैं तो निम्न लोकों में जाते हैं। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि जो हम पाप करते हैं तो हम निम्न लोकों में निम्न लोक, तो कौन निम्न लोक में जाता है, कौन नरक में जाता है? जस्ट वांटेड टू आस्क दिस।
निम्न लोक में माताजी नरक।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Before you go ahead, can you please translate the question, Prabhuji, because everyone.
Okay, Mataji asked. Mataji, this is a little different question actually, not related to the topic, but we'll quickly answer something. So Mataji asked, if people go lower planetary system, who goes to lower planetary system and who goes to Narakloka? So actually, lower planetary system is a high level of enjoyment is there. The atheistic people, those who might have some piety, but atheistic people, they go in lower planets and they enjoy. They're getting the demoniac bodies. They enjoy in the lower planets actually. Unlimited enjoyment is there. Even more than below Swarga is mentioned. Even that enjoyment is more than higher Swarga, because nobody attacks actually. They generally don't attack. So below Swarga, they enjoy there. But somebody has committed sinful activities, then they go to atheistic people who have done something good. They may go to below Swarga. Those who don't believe in the Lord, but those who do some pious activities, they may enjoy going to below Swarga, below Lokas actually. But one who's done committed sinful activities, now extent may differ. There are two ways, right? We suffer in this world also, or somebody may get a lower animal species also. That is based on desires. If somebody gets certain desire, that particular desire can be fulfilled in lower animal species. But suffering is based upon the papa. So one may suffer on this planet, or the extent of papa is more, then he may suffer in lower planets. It's difficult to understand, but Krishna mentions that it's Guhya, it's very difficult to understand how the karma works. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that, right? It is very difficult to understand the actions of karma. So I cannot exactly say, Mataji, but this is my understanding. This is exact. Okay, thank you. This is exact. Those who commit sinful activities, they go to Narakloka actually for suffering. But lower planets, it's not suffering, it's enjoyment. But they don't believe in the Lord. So there are atheistic.
ठीक है प्रभु, clear जी जी, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one small doubt. Sorry if I'm.
No problem.
Prabhuji, I just want to ask whether the class is finished or we are going on. It's just in the mid of the class.
Just last one point is remaining in this shloka. Just 2 points. I'll quickly finish this and then I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Please mention. Swayamidam. We're discussing this Gajendra Moksha shloka because it's very similar to this first line.
One Prabhuji is there for question and answer. He has raised a hand. So, Sudhakar Prabhuji.
So, Swayamidam. Yasminadam yatashedam yenadam yas idam swayam. Yosmat parasmacha parastam prapade swayam. So, Lord himself is universe, actually, in one sense. Because universe is so closely connected to the Lord. Lord pervades the entire universe. तो दोनों में इतना गहरा नाता है. राधा गोविंद महाराज जी के एनालॉजी में बताते हैं कि दोनों एक ही दांत से खाते हैं. How is it possible that two people can eat with the same teeth? But no, just it's mentioned for sake of mention, right? So that way, Radha Govind Maharaj ji explains that how Lord is not different from the universe in one sense. Actually, one sense is different, but because the universe is so closely connected to the Lord, it is the energy of the Lord, and because the energy, sometimes energy is also compared to. Like when you see sunrise, you say sun has come, although you're not seeing the sun. It's only the sunrise in your room, right? So sometimes the Lord is mentioned, Idam Swayam. This universe is Lord himself, is mentioned like that. That Lord is this universe. Brahma Devam. So Mundaka Upanishad says, Brahma Evedam Vishwam Samastam. So this this entire world is the Lord. But nobody will say that ornament is a goldsmith or pots are the pot maker. Right? So once we understand this world cannot be the Lord because it's the energy of the Lord. So that's why it's compared to the Lord. But because Lord is the efficient cause also, upadan cause also. So Lord is also different from this created universe. Understood? So yosmat parasmacha parastam prapade swayambhuvam. So it's mentioned actually that what is there, you asmat parasmach. Asmat karyat parasmach karanach. Ya parastam swayambhuvam. So this karya and karan, this created world and the cause behind this created world. Lord is even beyond that actually. As we learned that Lord is even beyond the Paramatma. The Paramatmas appear in this world as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Shuddhaksha Vishnu, Karanaksha Vishnu. The Paramatma for the universe, Paramatma for all the universes, Paramatma for a living entity. All these three Vishnu. Lord is even beyond that. Prapade Swayambhuvam. And Lord is himself actually no ultimate, Lord is ultimate cause. Swayambhuvam. There is no clause for the Lord. So he's telling Prapade Swayambhuvam, to that Supreme Lord, I bow down. I take shelter in that Supreme Lord. That's what Gajendra says. Okay, so here actually I thought I'm not able to cover all this philosophy. So I thought I'll speak some Jagannath pastor, but no problem. I think tomorrow we'll have class on Jagannath ji. Any other question anybody has? Yeah, Sudhakar, do you have some question, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I have two questions on the creation topic which you were clarifying earlier. One was about the creation which was described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Is my understanding, again you may correct me, Prabhuji, is mostly focused onto this material world, right? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever about the creation is talked is all about the material world, including the Brahma and all those things. So that is one thing what I understood. I would like to know what about the spiritual world creation. Is there any scripture or mention about the script? Because I sometimes get worried why I should really listen about this material world creation if my goal is to the Golok. This is what some maybe a stupid note, but I'm just sharing with you.
Everything I mentioned about creation to understand the glory of the Lord, actually. How Lord extends so much, actually, what all things he does for all of us. That's why it is mentioned. That's why, that the creation part comes in Brahma Samhita. But if you want to know about the spiritual world more, then there are Garga Samhita is a book written by Vyasadeva himself, actually. Or Garga Samhita. Garga is written by Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva has written Uttarakhand of Padma Puran. Uttarakhand, the more about spiritual world comes. Or if you want to read, Garga Samhita is a book, actually, where you hear more about the spiritual world.
Okay.
Right? These are the literature. Even, our Sanatan Goswami has read Brod Bhagavatam, where you find more about the spiritual world, activities in the spiritual world. But spiritual world is not, I don't know, means, the creation part is not mentioned, is eternally existing because it's never destroyed. That's why there's no creation, it's eternal, right? That this entire world is created and destroyed many, many times. In 8th chapter, Krishna says, but there's another world which is never destroyed, actually, beyond this world. That's spiritual world. In Bhagavad Gita, described, isn't it? 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
In Bhagavad Gita, it just referred about the spiritual world, but
more details you find Prabhu in Garga Samhita, Uttarakhand of Padma Puran, Bhagavatam, Samhitas, different Samhitas. You will find these description more in that. Like yes, Prabhu.
What I understood is, like at the time of the Lord's inhalation, the whole world, all this material world, or the millions of these material worlds gets back into the Lord Krishna's or the Lord Vishnu's, body, right? So again, when he world, the material world, or whatever this world we described, we're hearing from this one, and again the souls and all these living creatures are created, right? So I just want to know what is the basis for the this creativity, the jivas, why the jivas again after inhalation. My presumption was that all will become like a part and parcel of the God, right? because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says we are all the tiny fragments of Him. So I thought at the inhalation, everybody is getting into merging into God. Then again at the time of creation, why it is coming? Well, I'm not able to.
Because their material desires are not yet finished. They got to finish their material desire business, and they got to have only desire that they want to serve the Lord. So the destruction happens. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam. The Anantshesh becomes so angry that these people, after giving so many chances also, these people didn't take to Krishna consciousness. So in his anger, he destroys everything. This entire creation is like a mustard seed on the hood of Anantashesh. You can understand the glory of Anantashesh. Entire material creation, all these universes. And the Anantashesh destroys everything in the end. Right? But again, everything has to be created because the chance has to be given to the living entities after sleeping for all the while, because their material desires are not finished. So this material world is a playground, or it's an arena given to them actually for completing their material desires, and trying to become the lords, right? Trying to become enjoyers. So this material creation is created for that.
Okay.
And they'll be frustrated, and one time all these preachers will come and they'll preach Krishna consciousness. The Lord will come as incarnations. Right? So hopefully there is a vain chance to be given to them to turn back to the Lord.
Okay, Prabhuji. But if suppose, as we say, the karma, like based on the past karma, people, the jiva takes the different forms of the body, of the life. So, but also hear that based upon your karmas or past karmas, you already face the, what do you call the consequences. Like one goes to Swarga or Naraka.
No, but at the time of annihilation, Prabhu, everybody is living life, right? At one particular moment, it's not that everybody's karma is finished. When the time duration is finished of Brahmaji's day or Brahmaji's entire lifespan, everything is destroyed. So their activity is not yet finished. Their material desire not yet finished.
No, my Prabhuji, my question is slightly different. For example, a Jeev, he is doing some karmas, whatever pious or bad karmas. So he is facing the rewards as well as the punishment, right? The punishment, we see that he is going to the Naraklok and he gets his punishment, right? So is it that all the things, whatever is bad karmas, gets nullified by that act, and then he is fresh? Is it not like that?
Even you get all the reaction. Let's say generally it doesn't happen that all the reaction the living entity would have already gotten all living entities at a time. But let's say that has happened. But still, the desires are not karmas. The desires are even beyond karma. Actually, the material desire, right? The desire caused the karmas. Actually, the ignorance of true spiritual identity, people desire something apart from the Lord. And because of the material desire is not yet finished, along with the prarabdha karma and all karmas, actually even the material desire is there. That's why they take another birth.
The material desire is coming because we are placed in the material world.
No,
right?
We are placed in the material world because material desire is there. Not that we were in material world and material desire came. No, first material desire was there, and that's why we placed in material world. Okay, this entire material planet creation is actually based on the material desire. Srila Prabhupada, if you read 15.1 Bhagavad Gita, it's all based on the plane of a desire of a living entity to separate, fully enjoy from the Lord. Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Since we have the material desire, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
So we have the material desire. That's why the Lord has created this world, and that's why we are coming and enjoying. But still, again and again, we are not. The desire is not getting over it. It always comes, Prabhuji. So how to get out of this, Prabhuji?
So by association of pure devotees, our desires are changed. Now all of you want to come for Bhagavatam class. You want to go to Dham. You want to chant rounds. You want to grow spiritually. So our desires are changed. Anybody can see it. After coming to Krishna consciousness, the quality of our desire is changed. Right. So definitely we're seeing that change. And the more we are pure devotees, the more our devotees will become more. The desires will become more and more devotional. Right. If you ask
initially, it will be like okay, I'm really placed well now, so this process is very good. We feel, but as years pass by, what happens? Okay, sometime we can go out, sometime we can go we can have some leisure. So these are all, though we are knowing that, okay, these are all the because of the conditioning, because it is my desire, I am doing all this, that is going on the backside also, but still I want to enjoy. So that tendency is there, even when we are doing this practice also, Krishna conscious practice also. So so is it that we have to improve our sadhana, Prabhuji?
Definitely, yeah, with the improvement of sadhana. At the same time, actually, there kamya karma, there is a vihita karma, and there is a nishiddha karma. So kamya karma sometimes is allowed. You know, if you have certain desire, and it can be fulfilled in a Krishna conscious way as much as possible. Right? Vihita karma is already given, and we should do that actually. What is asked of us. And there's a nishiddha karma, that certain desire we should never fulfill, like breaking 4 regulative principles. So it's beyond actually. We should never do that. Right? So certain desires are, Krishna is not that we can always connect things with Krishna also. Let's say we are not yet fully purified, but still we can actually, you can go out and you can see, okay, trees are the hairs on the body of the Lord, and the rivers are the veins of the Lord, and all the mountains are the bones of the Lord. You can connect things with Krishna. Right? If you're not primarily fully Krishna conscious, directly Krishna and his personality, his eternal associates, we can connect this material world. So I got a desire to play guitar, I want to learn that. Okay, you play guitar now. I try to use in Lord's service. You remember, I know devotees who remember material songs, but they can try to connect with that with the Lord. So in this way, when we are in Krishna consciousness, we also find means actually how we can connect with the Lord. And then gradually we will be purified. It may not happen in one day. We cannot expect that. Of course, we can try, but it cannot happen artificially. Also, as a grahastha, people are situated in different, not everybody may be part of the family, may be devotee, and you may have to fulfill their desires. So generally, devotee, when fulfilling other desires, is neutral. He doesn't try to enjoy the material world. At the same time, he may have to compel into other desire. He may have to act in a certain way which doesn't look exactly like a devotee. How can you go to this place or that place? But internally, actually, he is connecting things with the Lord, remembering the Lord, and fulfilling his duties. Like that. But it will take a little time.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So internally, we have to be detached. Externally, we have to be attached. So that is the process.
Right. Like Kardamuni, he himself was a great sage. Actually, he doesn't have to, but only for the sake of Devavati, he created all these mansions and he made her go everything. She was a daughter of the king, right? But he is mentioned actually. He was all neutral among all these things, right? So devotee, and he did his duty. You see what he created actually for his wife. The devotee will not forsake one's duty, but internally will remember the Lord. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, that you don't do market vairagi. You act in this world, but internally, like a paramour, wife, the lady may remember the paramour. Similarly, you should try to remember the Lord while doing the duties of this world.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Makes sense. So, Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one thing to ask you or to get correct from you. As I have seen the devotional practice, whatever I could do, I have seen that everything boils down to the sense control. As we grow, or not grow, but as we improve or we try to do extra, everything boils down to the sense control. So is my understanding correct that everything what we do is for the sense control, to realize that we are the servant of servant and servant? That is the undercurrent of every practice that we are trying to do.
You're telling two things. One place you're telling sense control, another place you're servant of servant. So what you tell second is right. That ultimately boiled down to being realizing that we're servant of the Lord is ultimate perfection. But sense control, our process is not so much of sense, but it's sense engagement, actually, regulated sense engagement. That we Rushikena, Rushikesha Sevana Bhakti Ruchate. Sarupadi Nirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rushikena Rushikesha Sevana Bhakti Ruchate. By engaging our senses in the service of the Lord, Rushika, senses in service of the Lord, eyes for seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, tasting prasadam. So automatically, when you engage senses in serving the Lord, they get purified, and automatically they detach from the material engagement. So, of course, we may a little bit like we follow certain sense regulation, but more importantly, sense engagement in a positive spiritual activities. Then senses are purified, then param dushva nivartate. That when you get a higher taste, automatically the lower taste goes away. So we should be, emphasizing more on how we can actually engage in the service of the Lord, see the beautiful darshan, hear the melodious kirtan, chant the names of the Lord, eat prasadam. So gradually hear the beautiful katha of the Lord. So when we do that, engage our senses in this way in service of the Lord, automatically senses become purified.
So Prabhuji,
Yes.
Is this understanding correct that the consciousness that we I don't say that it is fully developed. I am saying that the consciousness that we carry every day, each moment that we are carrying, we should have that to look after it, that is our service or is our engagement of senses helping us to grow in our consciousness
Right.
or not.
We should be very vigilant. We should be very vigilant.
Very, very careful because
Like
this
you don't drink, right? You don't drink. Yes, Mataji. You want to complete? Yes, Mataji.
So if we break this, or if we have the tendency, or even if we'll be tested, or the circumstances will grow opposite, or we will be having our own impedance, or our own mental concoction will be played, because we'll be suffering in the problems, we'll be taking an external supports, and we will be questioning ourselves that our devotion is being challenged or questioned. Sometimes there'll be a downfall also. So is my understanding correct that we have to check our consciousness at the end of the day, that is our real engagement went correct with the senses or not, for the entire process of devotion in life?
Yes, Mataji. We should always be vigilant, careful. Like when you drink water, you don't drink anywhere, everywhere. You drink a filtered RO water. You check that quality, right?
Exactly.
Similarly, we eat organic, proper rice food. We won't take contaminated food. Same way, if you're not careful about what my senses are intaking, then the disturbance will come. So in our meditation, right, our entire, that's why this yam and niyam is there actually, things to be done and things not to be done. So when we follow that, then come dhyan dharana samadhi. If you don't follow yam niyam, there is a question of dhyan dharana samadhi. So there are certain things not to be done, certain things to be done, certain way mind has to be engaged, certain way mind should not be engaged. So we have to be vigilant how my mind is acting. Yogi is very careful. He always observant that where his mind is flowing actually, and then consciously bring the mind. We remain bando moi savadhanavati every day we chant. Let me be attentive actually. So the attentive service, attentive chanting, it can bring the results. Not that we do anyway, every way. Because inattentive chanting, root cause of all offenses. If you're not attentive, chanting, devotion service, then we'll create seva aprad, nam aprad, dham aprad, Vaishnava aprad. All kind of apradas will be done, and it will not be helpful for bhakti. Okay, Mataji, Jyoti Mataji.
Prabhuji, could you please give me the shloka that you mentioned for the observant, and you mentioned right now 2 shlokas. Could you please give the number?
Oh my God. Bando moi savdhan matlab kya mention. Mataji, Guru Puja every day sing, right? Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando moi savadhana mate. So this is in Guru Puja every morning we sing.
Yes. Eternally grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Cecilia, for this question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vinita Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
There's no time limit. Already I crossed.
Hare Krishna.
So what happened, Prabhuji? You are saying something?
I hope there's no time limit.
No, Prabhuji, we have more time, Prabhu. If you have time, we have more time. Yeah.
Okay,
Can I ask, Prabhu?
Yes, please ask.
Yeah. So Prabhu, very, very nice class. Anita Mataji was asking, like, continuous to that, only I wanted to ask is the similar question, like being in spiritual life for like more than 10 years, what happens is everything becomes very casual for us. Like sometimes, I mean, it's a routine life, right? Sometimes I feel, I don't know. Sometimes I feel, how do I explain? It's like very common thing. Okay, go off of food and like you don't feel the what do you say, Prabhuji? Like initially there's so much of happiness and everything is there, but going further every day, it is becoming like a routine. Is it okay to make it like a routine? How do I express? I don't know. I'm not able to put my question.
Right, I'm getting Mataji. There are multiple ways to understand.
It's becoming like material.
Yeah, just like a casual thing, and I mean,
yeah, like a machine robotic process. Like, okay, today I have to wake up, I have to do all these things like that. Yeah, right,
yes, yes, Mataji. After certain years, it's becoming like that.
That's how we got to
Mataji, Prabhuji, I should say Mataji is very dedicated. She is doing her very much all the services on Bhakti Sangha. I don't know why Mataji is asking this question, but thank you so much, Mataji. Maybe you're asking on behalf of all of us. Hare Krishna.
So the hearing part is most important actually. The hearing helps us to elevate our consciousness. Hearing helps us to understand our fault lines, our gaps. We need to understand where blind spots are there in devotional service, and we become exposed when we hear. When we hear, where is Haridas Thakur's humility and where is our humility, right? Haridas Thakur mentioned, if I die, it's like a one hand dies actually. And if some hand dies, nobody does Antim Sanskar for hand. Nobody does a memorial function for the hand. What happens to the world? He says, no, I am dying as good as I am dying. Now, if somebody doesn't take our name for particular credit is not given, we feel so anxious that my credit was not given to me. Actually, I did so much. Right? How far we are from that standard of devotional service exhibited by Haridas Thakur. Or we find what is humility of Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami. Actually, they are mentioning they had no qualification. We were all sinful. We are more sinful than Jagan Madai. And they're not telling that we built a palace and we had their Bhagavad Katha every time going on. And we had a Brahmanas coming, we donated so much charity we did. They don't mention anything. How much we are keen to mention what all things we have done, right? But Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami's humility is so absolute that they consider themselves, they don't even mention what they've done. Only they tell all their disqualifications. That they served this king, Yavana king, and they've fallen because of that, and they're even more fallen. That's what Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says actually, right? So when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, when we see the humility of the devotee, great devotee, when we see their character, all the good qualities, great qualities. When we hear about Srila Prabhupada, the desire to give Krishna consciousness at the end of his life, going out among all troubles, taking all troubles, even when his bodily health is totally down. In last year of his life, right? Means 1977, his health was all down, and he got little recovered and immediately went to the London. How much eager Srila Prabhupada, although he was so frail actually. So where we are standing actually, how keen we are to every day go out for book distribution or preaching service, how keenly do we do that, right? So we understand our devotion is very feeble. We are very far. Then we feel that, I need to go advance. If I really want to experience the emotions which are experienced by all this great soul, fraction of those emotions, then I got to also practice, come to that standard. And then unless we beg to the Lord, we won't get that. And we cannot get that by mechanical devotional service unless we beg this humility, this tolerance. Only by when the Lord bestows, the spiritual master, gives his grace. So Lord will make us work hard for that. Like Yashoda Mai, whole day she was trying to bind Krishna. In the end, seeing her endeavors, Krishna got pleased. So it's not by our endeavors, but ultimately how we please Krishna. To please Krishna, if we are inattentive, if we are casual, if your no intention is pleasing Krishna, then Krishna won't be pleased. We got to be intentional. This intentional word is very common nowadays in all the self-help books and everywhere. That intention, what is my intention behind doing everything? So by being in a touch with sincere devotees, by hearing very attentively, by gogging ourselves, by doing some self-reflection, this exercise help us actually to understand that we got to go really far and we got to improve our quality of sadhana, seva, whatever we're doing. Then only, otherwise it's not granted that we're going to go. Srila Prabhupada says 80% of people in Krishna consciousness will land up in heavenly planets. It's mentioned actually, right? So it's not going to be that easy also. We got to be vigilant. Even Jayanand Srila Prabhupada mentioned that probably he had a material desire, then he's gone to heavenly planets. But then devotees mentioned that he was remembering the Lord actually while he was leaving the body. Then Srila Prabhupada said, he went back to body. Yes, Mataji, did I answer this question properly?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hearing and services will help us to be enthusiastic. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that really wonderful reply. So thank you so much. So actually, this hearing you were saying, Prabhuji, during this Bhagavatam class also, for me, I'm saying I just plug on my AirPods and I will be moving here and there. So, but I will be listening. Sometimes what happens is, at the backside of my mind, the planning will be going on. Okay, I have to do this. Come on, get up. That I'm knowing that. Okay, my mind is saying, okay, you have to get up. You have to go and do this work. You have to go and do that work. So, at that moment, no, that 2-3 minutes that part will be missed off. Then when Prabhuji is speaking, no, I that connection will be gone. Like I will be trying to recall, okay, what Prabhuji said. So then again at that time the other portion will be gone. So this is the thing is happening while listening Prabhuji. So hopefully it should improve. So can you give some
Actually, hearing followed by manana, by reflection, sitting with devotees and churning a few points at least, and then at least bringing out one point for personal application, something. Because hearing itself, we got to hear very attentively, carefully, non-judgmental hearing, not casual hearing, but intentional hearing. Again, if you're hearing only based on YouTube suggestions, okay, today I'll hear this because of YouTube suggestion, tomorrow I'll hear this. It's not going to be. We got to be, specifically hearing from pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. That's going to help us purify our heart, and hearing with the purpose of developing relationship with the devotee from whom we are hearing, not just information gathering or entertainment, but I got to have intention of developing relationship with my Shiksha Guru, my Diksha Guru, because that relationship, bhakti is ultimately growing in relationship with Krishna, actually, right? If you're not grown in a relationship with spiritual master, how we grow in relationship with Krishna? So our hearing should bring out better relationship with our spiritual masters. And in devotees, we should be hearing, ideally, these devotees should be reflecting the mood of Srila Prabhupada or spiritual master. Then we can connect teachings of Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master. But if you're just hearing for sake of gathering information or entertainment, then that cannot so much transform our heart, actually. That cannot grow in a relationship. And when we'll feel the viraha, when there is a relationship, then only we'll feel the viraha. That separation, unless there's a strong relationship, you'll not feel the separation. So the hearing is meant to develop relationship with the Lord and the devotees, actually, not for gathering information. It's very important. So we should have intentional hearing, actually, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
and we have to see. And I recently gave this IDC, and it was kind of eye-opener for me, actually. For all Srila ISKCON devotees, it's very primary, important that they regularly hear from Srila Prabhupada and develop first hand. Preeminent Shiksha Guru means the greatest of all, surpassing all others. So that's Srila Prabhupada, actually. So we have to develop that relationship with Srila Prabhupada. So we should be hearing directly, reading his books, his biographies, his lectures, his conversations, his interviews. And of course, we should be more hearing from devotees who reflect Srila Prabhupada's mood and Srila Prabhupada's Vani, this would repeat. Because Srila Prabhupada said, repeat what I repeated, actually. Right? So we have to come to, platform where we come, we find a reflection of Srila Prabhupada in teachings of devotees. That helps, that hearing can help. And definitely directly hearing from Prabhupada, hearing about Prabhupada, reading from Srila Prabhupada books. So this can really help, because Srimad Bhagavatam Prabhu Maharaj explains that only when Srila Prabhupada mentioned, actually, about when we hear from pure devotees, what if we have forgotten our connection with the Lord, that forgetfulness will go away and we'll remember that connection. So, yeah,
Thank you.
only
Thank
one.
you. That was really very wonderful reply. I didn't think in that point. So we have to listen just to have get the connection with the Guru. So in that ways, and the Lord. So not for information gathering. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Valli Mataji, Prabhuji, do you have any more time?
Yeah, miss, I can answer. I have a little more time.
Okay. Valli Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thanks for taking my question. Actually, it was a very wonderful interactive class. It is so useful for everyone. It is testing for our mind also, Prabhuji. We are thinking this word where we already know the slokas, we know the words, but we have to capture like where it is coming from and when did we hear that, looking at the meaning. That was so wonderful in your class. I always like your classes. One more thing why I raise my hand at this point is when you're talking about the attachment and how we have the viraha, only when we have the attachment, then only we feel that viraha bhava in our mind, right? So we have to be attached to the God, and then we have to be offering all these things. When you say that the devotees, when we say about the attachment, for example, like the material way, I feel both. I have two sons. I feel attached to them with the same way. But one son left home like early in his 19 years, and he is in studies and working, and he is far away. And the other son is home, mostly nearby me and very close, and I can see him like every weekend or often. But the other one, I miss him a lot because of the distance. So this distance matter is coming in my mind. Maybe even if I am attached to the both kids in the same way, but still I feel more viraha. Why for the one kid who is far away, and not that much for the kid who is close to me? So same way, if we feel if we take this example to the God, so if we feel he is close to our hearts, we don't feel viraha. If we feel like he is somewhere in the temple or far away from us, we feel more viraha. Is a distance concept in between of the viraha attachment?
Even
and,
in meeting, this is very true what you mentioned, Mataji. And Srila Prabhupada asked us to practice bhakti only in this mood. This is our Gaudiya line mood. Even if Srimati Radharani is in company with Krishna, there is also viraha. That feeling of that Krishna will go away and I may lose Krishna. She is totally becomes disturbed. So even He Radhe Vraja Devi ki Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Putra Govardhana Pada Kalpatale Kalindi Vande Kuta Goshanto Iti Sarvato Vrajapure Kheder Mahavivalo. So they were, where are you? Where are you? Srila Prabhupada mentioned Goswami is always in a mood. Srimati Radharani, where are you? Krishna, where are you? They didn't say, oh, I already got Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada said, some people say, already I got Krishna. I got Krishna in my dream and I'm always with Krishna. Actually, I can think of. No, our mood while rendering devotional service is mood of a separation. That I'm very far from Krishna. I'm not attained. I'm yet to find Krishna. No, where are you, Krishna? This is a mood given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is where we always find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. How is Krishna feeling separation from the Lord? And the Goswami is actually the rendering. Goshanto Iti Sarvato Vrajapure. That always shouting loudly, they're crying out, Krishna, where are you? Radharani, where are you? Lalita Vishaka, where are you? Right? So this is separation we are supposed to cultivate. Right? But initially, it's not physical separation because it's mentioned, it's like a fire is very small. With a little wind, the fire will burn off actually. Fire will not be there. So our separation is very little and we go away from devotees. They will forget devotees only. But our attachment is very strong and that time we are a little far. Then that fire is very big and the fire, the air comes, it becomes even more bigger actually. So viraha, those who form attachment, that viraha brings even further, stronger attachment for devotees. But if you have very little attachment to devotees, then it's good to always be, in any ways it's good to be always in a company of devotees. We should not take a risk. But internally we cultivate that I am far away from Krishna. Actually, Krishna is very far. I'm not yet attained Krishna. So this mood we cultivate. Then that viraha will be there.
Yeah.
And also we hear the songs of the Viraha Kusma. As one grows in this spiritual life, then our literature full of such a Viraha expressions actually, which can also ignite our feelings of separation.
Yeah, but for me, Prabhuji, I always feel like God is within me, around me. He's watching me all the time. He's next to me. I don't feel alone at all at any point of time. I feel like something is happening. Oh, it is His mercy. Someone talks to me in a different way. Maybe God is in them and He is making them talk to me like that. And it is my karma. And still,
as we advance, we will get desire that I want to see Krishna. I want to serve the But we are there, but we are still not there with Krishna, right?
Yes,
we are not there Krishna face to face. We are not. That's what
so the distance between us, what we think, the distance in our mind, and not the physical distance. That's what we say, Prabhuji.
So we have to feel a separation from the Lord. Actually, as when we chant, we have to feel that I want to experience the Lord. I want to. Yeah. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Actually, has come to give us anarbita charim chirat karunavati that never being restored. Personal company of Krishna, which we don't have. Like Paramatma, God is always.
And mainly we are far from India also. When we go to India, we feel like, oh, we are there in that place and we can see all the dhams and everything. And we don't get that much of opportunity like the people who are in India. So to go and visit
the more
the
you come to close, actually, more you come closer, more you'll find separation. Because you come to dham, but you're still yet to see Krishna. After we right? Krishna is right.
Yes.
No, when I got an opportunity to serve a couple of months. Kusum Sarovar, there's a temple, and there's a Radha Banbihari temple is there where Krishna comes and braids the hair of Srimati Radharani. So I'd gone a couple of to assist devotees there, and it is mentioned every day morning 11 o'clock Krishna comes there. Actually, Radharani Krishna Leela happens there, and I used to around that time my seva was to sweeping the floor there outside. That they have got a porch, so that sweeping that. So I used to feel, oh my God, Krishna is here right now, 11 o'clock, but I'm not able to see Krishna. What is this? Where I am, right? Krishna is right here. Scriptures say that, Acharyas say that. But this is Krishna. Right, but
You're so lucky, Prabhuji. You are working same at the same place, same time happening. It is so fortunate for you. So
Krishna
please bless me
there.
also, Prabhuji. Yeah.
But I couldn't see Krishna yet, right? So I'm yet very unfortunate.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And you need your blessings mainly this day. Today is my birthday. So I just want to start my day with this Sangha and my friends in this group. So thank you, Prabhuji. I just need your blessings today.
Very sincere, Mataji. We wish you very, very happy Krishna conscious birthday. I pray to the Lord that Lord fulfills all your spiritual desires and empower you to serve Srila Prabhupada and all his empowered associates. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I don't think so. No more questions or hand raise are there. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We can end the call here with your permission. Thank you for your valuable time and association, Prabhuji. It was very interactive class.
I hope it was not very complicated because things were little.
No, Prabhuji. Actually, it was very nice, Prabhuji. With the one word of the cause, you took all that philosophical things and you made us to understand very nicely. And it was very interactive session, as Mataji said. So it was digging the brain, like where is this coming, where this shloka is coming. So, and very active participation of all the devotees also. Thank you so much, devotees, also for that. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah. So let's pay to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatripasya
Festival is
Jai. His grace, Nimai Prabhuji ki Jai.
Tomorrow is
All Hare Krishna, closing the call for today. Hari Bol.
I was mentioning about
Hari Bol.
Jagannath festival and the two lords actually.
Prabhuji is trying to say something. Actually, he wants.
Prabhuji is saying, yeah. Please, Prabhu, can you unmute yourself?
Prabhuji, unmute yourself, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, unmute.
Oh my God, I muted myself. So I was telling Jagannath Rath Yatra festival celebrating tomorrow, and there Jagannath is separation from Srimati Radharani, although they are in front of each other, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there dancing in front of Jagannath, but Radharani is in separation from Jagannath. So it's a meeting and separation, and it's a festival of separation, celebration of this separation, this Jagannath Rath Yatra festival. So I seek all of blessing. I wish you very, very happy Jagannath Rath Yatra festival, and I seek your prayers also. Thank you very much. Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's class. We'll close the call for today. Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Hari Bol.